Morning everybody. Happy Sunday, hope all's well. Good to see you all. Hi Grim, hi Marco. Matthias, how are you? Philip, good to see you. John, nice to see you all the way from Aussie. Oh, Keith, how's it going? You right? Hiya Damon. Oh. Hi Thorin, good to see you. Tommy and Damon, thank you for joining. Sorry, had a little technical glitch there. So, apologies for being a little bit late, a bit tardy there. But thank you all very much for joining either the chat or the event. I think there's about 30 of us that are signed up. Yes, 31 of us that are signed up to the event. And it's going to be one big, giant, vertical chat lap. Hi Mike, how are you? Sound is good. Oh, thank you, Jane. I'm a little bit rusty, forgive me. Jason, morning. All going well, thank you. Jerome? Oh, you're not invited. Bear me a second, Jerome. Did you put Alp, BP Alp, in the back of your name, Jerome? Bear me a second. Oh dear. I've got to turn the Wi-Fi off. 1 second. Sorry. There we go. 1 second. I think I can still get you in, Jerome. Oh dear. Right. What do? The level of concern is high. So Jerome, you have got it? You got BP out? Okay. Did you put it in quite late? Because I did do a check this morning at 7:30. So just bear me a second. Edit. Add. BP Alp. Wait a second, there we go. Yeah, Jerome, yeah, you've obviously joined a little bit later on. And Tommy, yeah, I got you in now. Right, bear me a second. Let me, oh dear, what do I do now? BP out. I think I save. Cancel. Why is it not letting me save the changes? Bloody. Cancel. It's not letting me save the changes. Apologies. I'm trying my best here, but I looked at it at 7:30 and did a little sort of warm up. So my apologies. If you can probably spawn on me if you go into Zwift and spawn on me, everybody can ride here. So my apologies. It's just yeah.
David Raynham says people can select to ride with you.
Great.
Tommy and Jerome say okay. And Grim wanted to know, have you got a trainer difficulty on the right?
Oh yes, good point. Right, sorry, I'm all flustered now. Right, so hang on a second. Don't quit event menu. Here we go. This is not slick, is it? This is right up there with some of my least slick starts. Well, hang on a second. There we go. Let's bring it down to 50. There we go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Grim.
Cheers, Grim. Right, we're back in the game. You can't save changes once I'm in the meetup, Marco. Right, my apologies. I'm sorry. Yeah, so in future, I mean, what I tend to do is at about 8 o'clock at night, I send, or 7:30 last night, I send out the invite to the meetup once everybody's had a chance to alter their name, and then I do another check when I get up. So my apologies for missing, but do spawn on me. Oh. Oh. So we got Chris Platt, Chris Taylor, we got Christian Sergethak. I think I've mispronounced your second name, Christian. Dave Gibson, Dougie Campbell, George Clucas, Jason Vaughan, John Hankey, Marky of the MTB, Marco Derricks, Matt Miller, Matthew Gilles, Mike Pickering, Philip Laws, Riding with Gerben, Ruben de Klerk, Thomas Ringberg, Michael Nardella, Paul Fiernan and Steve Kay, plus Ben Pitt, Ian DeJonka, John Fickling, Mark Bentley, Mike Dobson, Paul Borum, Paul Spencer, Scott Ruddick, Tim McNulty, Wayne Parsons of the Yoga, Douglas Hunter, DJ Hunter, Lisperius Barn, M Massive and Carl Raymond. Thank you for joining. It's hugely appreciated. And now, Tommy McMahon and Jerome Marriott. There we go. Mouthful. Right, so the intent today, and Giorgio Capella will like this, go and watch Giorgio's channel. He's got quite an intelligent, well, not quite, a very intelligent approach to training. Like many of you, he's building his base. And he dropped a really nice video about training in zone 2 and combining it with strength training, or a couple of nice videos. To talk about the rationale, how he makes it a little bit more fun, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's first, well no, not first time back on the bike. I've had a couple of goes on a bike. I'll come back to that in a second. And Paul Hamblett, I forgot, Paul Hamblett is with us too. Sorry, Paul. I didn't know, I write them down when there's that many, Paul. So, the intent today is to ride at about 150 to 175 watts for me on the front. That's about 2.5 to 2.7 watts a kilogram. And hopefully, if I stick to that pace, that will mean it's a little bit less if you need a little bit less on the back. And if you want to go off the front, definitely go off the front. That's all cool. And so we're going to roll out. I'm going to try and just hold that wattage all the way. Morning, Dr. Hugh, aka of the Badger. How's it all going? The Lord of the can't even say it. I'm out of shape in the vocal side. Lord of the statistics is amongst us. There's not going to be many stats for you today, Lord. Hope all's good. Oh, Martin, nice one. You're M massive. Beautiful, beautiful, Martin. Right, I'm going to download that. Right, 200. So here we go. No surges today, no. No surges. Yeah, Ed is out doing... It's going to be a really good video, actually. I mean, obviously Ed is building up to an Everest attempt. And so, pertinent training for that is to gradually build up hill repeats outdoors. And so I think he's going for as many hill repeats as he can on a designated climb in the motherland, the land of the valleys, as stage 1. And then I think he's going to go 2 hours the next time, and 3, etc. Just gradually build it up. Right. So yeah, I have been back training. I had 10 days off the bike, and I kind of felt ready to go back, in all honesty, after about 7 or 8. But I deliberately held back a little bit because Paul Hamblett, he sent me a WhatsApp and says, he always says to people, when you're feeling good and ready to go back, add an extra day for every week you've been off. So I added a couple of extra. Wise words, Paul. Morning, Keith. Oh, he's doing 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 next time, is he? I think it's only an hour this time, isn't it? You haven't had breakfast? Ruben, yeah, I haven't had breakfast either. I've got my amino acids here. Because I do like a fasted ride, as you know. You're going to make a mountain of pancakes. Nice. Simon, nice. Morning, Di. So yeah, for future meetups, we put it out there on social media, the meetup was coming. And we put the instructions in the thumbnail, but also the post I put onto YouTube. So please, if you want to ride, put whatever the marker is at the back of your name, and then I do an invite. Plus, I then go and invite as many people who already have Backpedal in their name as I can, in order to kind of fill things out and catch people that maybe haven't seen it. And then I do a kind of a trawl back through, uninvite anybody that's declined to make room for others, and invite anybody that's put the monkia, is that the word? At the back of their name. This is a nice little group. This is the first time I've actually led off a group and it hasn't splintered straight away. I'm kind of encouraged. My leadership skills are not the best. Oh, I have to say below 2.5 watts a kilogram stay heat. Yeah, I'll be in that kind of 2.5 to 2.7 range so that we can get up the Alpe in a half reasonable time. And I have been back training. I've done a little video on it, so I'm not going to kind of spoil what I do, but I always have, whenever I've come back from any kind of injury or illness, previously when I was running and doing strength, and obviously now cycling, I have a little protocol that I do just to see how I feel. And then I gauge, you know, a level of just riding within that for a bit, and I'm hoping to start the structured training with Ed as of next week. It's impossible to ask a coach to kind of put something in place for you, I think, when he doesn't know exactly how you're feeling. So my preference is to just kind of find my way there. Is there a group at the back? I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going to ride a steady, let me make steady 175. Let me just, hello message again. I've forgotten what to do on Zwift. Who would have thought that? To ride a steady doubly kick. Oh, dear me. That took a bit of an effort. Oh, you're the human anchor, are you? Oh, beautiful, Matthew. Thank you for that. There we go. So what have people been up to the last 15 days or so? Obviously it's been a bit of a grim January, weather-wise. Not going to mention the L word. But has anyone done anything interesting? Let me know in the chat. I have been in isolation. This is my 25th day. I got another 3 to go. Oh, your Bluetooth has gone, Tim. So sorry.
Douglas Campbell said his companion wasn't working. Could you let him on?
I can't, Douglas, I'm afraid. I invited you in, sir, but I'm not allowed to then drag people back in once the meetup started and I'm riding, I'm afraid.
Can you spawn on you?
You can spawn on me, though, before we hit the Alps, sir. And then you can show us your descending skills. Because I watched you, obviously, I think it was just before Christmas, on Mont Ventoux, DJ. And Pritchard was doing his usual thing on the way down. You know, like making himself tiny, adding, 200 kilograms or whatever. 1,000 kilograms, I think it was. And doing his little sprints and stuff, and then freewheeling max effort. But you were beating him, sir, DJ. It was very impressive. You spawned, nice one, Tommy. Oh, Marco's done a bit of weight doping. Nice one, sir. Grim, you got a new job. Nice one, Steve. It's good to see you all the way from Aussie. Hope all's well. What's your job, Marco? Grim, sorry. What's your job? We exchanged a little note on that, and I know you're being furloughed, and then you weren't able to work for a little bit. So let us know. But congratulations and massive respect for sticking in there, sir. That's what I mean. Adversity people are dealing with. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate you saying that. You're nervous, yeah. I am nervous as hell when I start a new job. Even if I have a new boss in the same job. I worked for 20 years at the Royal Bank of Scotland, and I loved that bank. Despite all the bad press it gets, it was a nice place to work. But after 20 years, when I went to do a different job with the Silicon Valley Bank, I was an absolute wreck before I started it. So good luck tomorrow, Grim. It'll soon be over, and when the first day's done, it's progressively easier after that. You're doing a climbers race. Nice, Michael. I think Tour of Fire, not Tour of Fire and Ice, just the pure 3R Alp race is definitely one of my favourites. It's an out and out kind of 45 to 55 minute smash up the Alp. That's feel good stuff, that. Enjoy that. Nice one. The meetup didn't let you in, Chris. My apologies. I did make the invite though. Were you a bit too late? Cheers, Chris Garnett. How are you? How's the strength training going? Are you doing a lot of coaching from home? Yeah, Spawn is a Zwift thing. Yeah, you just click on me to ride with me, and you can join straight on the Alp. Here we go. So John is here in the heat in Australia, as is Paul. I hope it's not too hot for you, gents. Is Helen with us as well? I don't think Helen's amongst us. That's John's wife. You're going to smash your PB on the Alp, Marco. Even if there's a tiny little bit of weight doping in there, no one's going to mention anything. Well, your secret is safe with us. I promise. Your kicker bike turned into a rodeo machine. Tell us about the kicker bike. What are you thinking to it? So you're kind of going up and down, up and down. What are you throwing off though, Tommy? That's the question. Right. So here on the Alp, this is where in the race, everyone goes off like a cat out of hell. And for me personally, I found that if I try and stay with the lead group at kind of 5.5, 6 watts a kilogram, I'm done by about hairpin 18. And I find there's no real way back. But if I let the lead group kind of just drift away and ride a bit above my threshold through hairpin 21, 20 and 19, you know, like say 300 to 310 watts, I don't lose a ton of time, and then I start reeling people back in. Sorry, just got a bit over the watt range there. So I'm going to stick religiously to 150 to 170 watts. So tell me if I'm not doing that. Yeah, sorry, Lord's the wattage police. And if people want to go off faster, you go off faster for sure. If you want a PB, get a PB. Just join us in the chat if you can. So Steve, tell us how you're feeling kind of with a week to go on your recovery, sir. Let us know how frustrating it's been, what you're looking forward to doing when you get back. 2 degrees, Keith. Yeah, it's been snowing even in London, so I'm guessing that ain't good if you're outside of London. Yeah, Georgia, that's an interesting question. That's why I'm deciding about getting an Atom 2 at some point, because I do love the Atom 1. When I've been looking at the kicker, I love the look of that kicker bike. The idea of riding on the incline, and it's so easily adjustable. But there are mixed reviews about the reliability. Now I understand the second generation is a lot better. I think that's the one that Tommy's got, which is why I'm kind of... It was the Wahoo app. Yeah, so you see he's had a bit of firmware issue there. But I've loved the Watt bike because it's been reliable and accurate. I'm told it's accurate. It feels accurate when you get it back out on the road. And also it's about 1,200 less, but that kicker bike is quite alluring. Morning Aaron, morning Mick, hiya Mark. Week 9 of the build-up, nice one. Training program starts. So what's your first training back, Mark? Let us know. Helen, thank you very much. You did the Alp yesterday, fair play. Yeah, very frustrating when you're out. So there's a tear in the quad. Yeah, definitely. How did you tear the quad? But a muscle tear. I mean, these are things that you see obviously in the strength training scene. I was lucky never to get a tear because I wasn't very strong, basically. And I kept things, I was obviously a natural bodybuilder. But a lot of the drug-assisted strength athletes, they end up pushing more weight than their body, the tendons and all the stabilising muscles can cope with. And so that's where they get tears. But a tear, not that Steve, obviously I'm saying you can get a muscle tear or a muscle coming off the attachment for any reason. But definitely, I hope when you get back, it gradually starts to feel a lot more normal again. So best of luck. You've got to kick a bike, have you, Phil? Nice. I didn't realise you've got to kick a bike. Yeah, I mean, so you're clearly having a very, very strong experience with it as well. Is it the Generation 2? I think it is, because you bought it back in the summer now, remembering about it. I think we talked about it before. Matthews for the Watt bike. Tommy reporting high reliability. The manual adjustment, yeah, okay, got that. So that's relatively minor. Oh, sorry to hear that. Yeah, hashtag parent life, DJ. Yeah, I do remember those days. I'm not going to say which of mine. It'll embarrass them if they were ever to watch this back, which they won't. Nice one, Steve. Good to have you on board. You've got hardware issues. Which ones, Ruben? On the Watt bike or the kicker? You're not too rubbish to join in, Helen. You're always welcome. 6 months ago, yeah, so you got a Generation 2, Phil. Nice one. Yeah, I think there was teething issues with the Generation 1, as there was with the Atom. There was like an Atom Generation 1 and a Generation 1 Mark 2, if you get my drift. But I've been evaluating the two because I'd like to do a comparison, but James says there's not enough room in the flat. But it is £3,000 and you get a 1-year warranty. The big thing that's holding me back right now is that if something goes wrong with the Watt bike, you can call out engineers and they'll come and fix it in your house or service it, because they do need servicing. Whereas looking at the kicker stuff, it was all, you've got to send videos in and then you've got to send it back to the factory, that kind of thing. So does anyone know if there is actually the ability to have people come out and service it? Oh, you're in a GCN kit. Nice one, Steve. I'll see if I can see you in a second. Is Jane wrong? No, there isn't enough room in the flat. You're right, Lord. You see, look, you can report to Ed that I am riding religiously here in the range. It does feel nice at 50% here on the big hill. Is she ever wrong? No. Good. Thank you everybody for staying together. This is a nice group, nice chat. Let me just do a message. Pritch always has these pre-prepared. Nice pace. You're going to buy my Star Wars toys? Yeah. Then I'll have room. Do you know what? I don't think I could ever part with those. Yeah, I need a bigger flat. There's that as well. Now, I have very fond memories of all the Star Wars toys because obviously they're for my son. But I've kind of grown really attached to them. There's a few kids' toys. I love toys. If there's one thing I did was probably spoil my kids with too many toys. And I got them some of the ones that I always wanted. Don't think I could ever part with the Star Wars. Don't know what it is. Or the Lego. And my daughter has got this pony called Butterscotch the Pony. Well, she's now 18. And she always wanted this big Butterscotch the Pony. It's a massive thing. It's about the size of this watt bike, if I'm being over. And you can feed it carrots and it makes noises. You sit on it and it trots and things like that. This is before she was riding a proper horse. And she kept demanding it, not demanding it, asking for it. And I kept saying, no, it's a rubbish toy. You're going to hate it. Not much you can do with it, blah, blah, blah. And in the end, she ground me down. So I got it for her Christmas present when she was just getting a little bit too old. And I regret it because she would have enjoyed it. But sure enough, within about, I think, 2 weeks, it was nothing more than a holder for her dressing gown. But I refused to get it out of her bedroom because to me, it emphasises how stubborn-minded she is. But also, it was quite funny that I relented. Anyway, my apologies. No worries, Matt. They're quite expensive, these Star Wars toys now on eBay, aren't they? Not more outdoor bikes, Jane. So the legs are feeling nice. Ooh. Yeah, you got some of your lads' teddies. Now I also do love a teddy bear. I still got some of my teddies. Well, one of them. I am quite sentimental. I also have, speaking of inane things to have, when I was it must have been about 5, I remember being in the bath at my granny's with my sister. We were in the bath together and they brought in these little boxes, little square boxes, and one of them had a Mr. Happy soap that they gave to me, and the other one had a Mr. Bump soap that they gave to my sister. And I couldn't even bring myself to use the Mr. Happy soap. I still have Mr. Happy in one of the cupboards over there. He must be 41-year-old soap. And he's lost, I think, only one of his ears or something like that. Not his ears, he's lost maybe a hand, I can't remember exactly what. But he's in good nick. And boxed. My Mr. Happy soap. I don't hoard a lot, but my sister used her Mr. Bump straight away, and that just says it all. She's quite disposable. Oh right, so Marco, you got your PB up the Alp yesterday. Nice one. What was your time, sir? My apologies, I misunderstood. Does anyone else have a champion soap or a champion toy? The one that we pass down from generation to generation until one of the little gits says it's just taking up room and they give it to charity. Oh, sorry to hear you're resting your knee, Luke. Is it a big injury or is it just something that will hopefully just improve with a bit of R&R? Yeah, I think between Scott, Ed and I, we're going to get better at arranging the group rides. So yeah, definitely it's a good way when we're all building our base to try and have a little bit of fun turning the pedals. Because I don't know about you, well, I don't know about anybody here, I really don't enjoy the really long Zone 1, Zone 2 rides on my own. I find it quite difficult to lay down a power, which is why I was saying Giorgio Capella, he's sticking to, I think it's like a 6-week or a 10-week program of just building his base. He's focusing on strength, but also Zone 2, and he's getting some really good gains from it. But in his most recent video, he put out some nice tips about how to enjoy your Zone 2. You didn't get the PB. Sorry, Marco. Next time, So here I can explain a top tip of mine for getting your PB. So always on the Alp, the ramps in between the hairpins are like 7 to 11%. But on the hairpin, nearly all of them flatten out like this. I always change up a couple of gears, maybe 3 gears, to really keep the power down and sustain the momentum. It avoids breaking the rhythm, breaking the equilibrium, which to my mind is a good thing. But also you carry more speed into the steeper ramp. You don't lose anything. So definitely, I've said it many times, but that makes a big difference alongside probably aiming for a negative split. If you're PB hunting, the Alp is a great place to do it because you can get into a really good rhythm like that. So what do you do to vary it, Phil? Tell us. Phil of the 1000+ TSS, the biggest diesel engine of them all. Actually a really good kind of like elite amateur, call it, kind of challenge would be Phil Rich versus Paul Hamblet. Kind of who can sustain, like, I don't know, 275 watts the longest, that kind of thing. Like a really big amount of watts. Because both of them have like diesel engines that you just die for. Persistent niggle. Yeah, if you ignore the niggles, they do kind of aggregate up over time. Do you stretch much at all, Luke? Cartman was your favourite character, Grim. What is... That's a good subject. What is people's favourite South Park episode? I'm going to start you off. I love Cartman Land. But also, Scott Tieneman must die. Let me know your favourite Cartman Land. I want to ride my rides. I got my kids into South Park before it was really prudent. Tommy's amongst us, nice one. You went too hard on the first 4 or 5 hairpins. Negative split, Marco. Negative split. Hi, Brianna from Alaska. Wowee. It must be like super late at night or super early in the morning for you. Thank you for joining. Phil versus Paul on a ramp test. No contest, Damon. Oh, Phil Rich versus Paul on a ramp test. Yeah. Now that would be a contest. Sorry. Yeah, for me, it's like sayonara. Yeah, it's a dark one, isn't it, Lord? Very dark. Oh, you're building a wall. What's going on there? Did it fall over, or what was going on there in Alaska to be building a wall in the middle of winter? Hi, Ed. We were just talking about your 1 hour of maximum ascents in the land of the valleys. Good luck with that. It's going to be a really interesting way to train on your way to an Everest. Is it 2 hours the next time, sir? Is that like next Sunday if you can do it? What's the Rondo Ultima, Steve? Thanks for, again from the US. Appreciate that, mate. Cheers. Ryan, you're right. Okay, we've got a ramp off. A ramp off. I love that. Phil Rich versus Paul Hamblet. Now Scott from ComHunt TV, he's got some software, right? And he should be able to do an invite to you both. But actually no, Phil Rich. Oh no, you haven't got the same software. We can maybe do that on Backpedal. because we can have we have the software on Backpedal. I've forgotten what it's called. Ed and Scott know, and we can invite you both and have you on the screen, and then we can see your respective ramps because we can pull that in from Zwift as well. I don't know how it'll work, but Scott does it with Bullet. That would be epic. I'm going to speak to Scott. When the South Park kids became the police. Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed that. Respect my authoritaire. Respect my... And he was the same when he was school hall monitor. That was good as well. School hall monitor was a good one. Respect my authoritaire. You had to jump off to turn the fans on. That is a schoolboy error, Ski. Not turning the fans on. That moment when you realise my heart rate is at like 500. I'm sweating profusely. Why is that? This is unusual. The race has begun. Neither of us have you agreed. No, I know. But maybe you will. Everyone's okay. You don't have to do it. Obviously, this is not. This is not the South Park police, but it would be nice because I reckon it'll be good, or even a race, a longer race. A longer race would be pretty good too, actually. You've got your Cartman soft toy dressed in his cop outfit. In the cop outfit, that is a nice touch. That's limited edition kind of stuff. And Chorlton and the Wheelies. What's Chorlton and the Wheelies? The headwind. Everybody says they love the headwind, Dr. Hugh. It's about 200 quid. It seems like 200 quid very well spent. Yeah, best Zwift. I love that, Steve. Best Zwift fails. Well, I've had many. Obviously, I've managed to crash. I managed to crash a bike on a turbo in a shop whilst having a Zwift race. That's probably my most epic. Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. I crashed into a load of parked brand new bikes. It wasn't my fault. They didn't put the axle in correctly. So what we got going here then? Hi Chris. Score for fitness. Diesel engine, 7.5. Diesel engine has been alright actually. Top end power, 3. It's quite interesting how the top end power, I haven't tried to really open the taps, but I know from my little protocol that you're going to see in the vlog in the week that if I tried to open the taps it would end badly, so I'm going to have to build that back up. The US Miami turbo crash. So what other Zwift fails have we got here? Yes! A Zwift South Park day. How cool would that be? And they could do that. Pressing the letter whilst... Which letter is that? Because there are some letters that are worse than others. Hi Martin. Yeah, recovery's going good, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, just having a nice vertical chat lap here. Bibs on the inside out. Martin. That is genius. Now Steve, that is a good skill. 98% of a race with a laptop upside down and on the floor. What on earth were you doing, sir? How did you manage to keep it going? Thank you very much, Ollie. I appreciate that. It's feeling good to be back, enjoying our chat lap here. Of course, it goes without saying that there'll be a race back down the Alp. I've legislated for extra time for those that want to partake. I did think that DJ Hunter might show us his skills. I mentioned that DJ beat Chris Pritchard when he was doing a full minimise the size of the avatar, 1,000 tons of weight kind of thing on Volunteer. It was spectacular. So the gear cable went. Oh my word. Is that on a turbo? But you still got a PR. It's funny, sometimes the adrenaline kicks in when you have adversity and you just kind of, that fight or flight mechanism just kicks you on to something spectacular. Blaming it on the long COVID. I assume you're fully recovered now, Martin. You sprinted off the line in a crit and you knocked your laptop with your head. That is spectacular. I'd love to have seen that on a YouTube outtake. To be sprinting off the line. I'm always trying to do the bare minimum off the line and it's still 400 watts in that Crit City race. Ricardo, thank you very much for joining. How are you? So long as no weight doping, yeah. Everybody has to also ride the bike that they're on here. We'll call it an honour bar arrangement. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Hewish, he's got a veritable plethora of Zwift fails. Riding RJT with the trainer unplugged, I hadn't realised he'd done that. Wow. Now Reuben, that takes some mental fortitude. Climbing in the big gear up a steep old climb. What was the cadence? About 30? Well, respect to you for that. Yeah, sometimes he does wear the helmet and the glasses. Oh, is Agnes not well? You got a headache, Agnes? Yeah, I've been getting a few of those of late. Not actually since the operation. But I hope you feel better. Hope it's not a migraine. Ed's partner Charlie suffers from migraines, as does my sister. It's quite food orientated, but quite debilitating. He would have been over 30 for sure. Love that. Actually, that's a good piece of content right there. On a short punchy climb, up to about 5 minutes, sometimes the big ring is the way to go because you just have the mash fest from like hell, but it's exhilarating. And for me, almost as effective as spinning. Like on Leith Hill, when I did the hill climb event, and the one that we did with Georgia, I forgot what it was called, the Farnham Road. I was out in the saddle for most of that up until the shallow top bit. Love that. But actually doing a long climb, not good for the knees though. Yeah, we've just been talking about the knees. Yeah, scrap that idea. Note to self, poor content, ignore that idea. The weight doping is good on the waistline, is it, Marco? Hiya, Kesh Lifestyle. Morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, that was a really good video, Damon, on GTA. And obviously, as soon as I saw the title, I was straight in there on the thumbnail. And they did it in a really engaging way. I mean, obviously they went to both ends of the extreme. But, yeah. I've forgotten the lad who was doing the spinning, but that's how I look sometimes, like a right tit. I'm not the prettiest rider outdoors. Only a 5-minute smash fest. You had the vaccine, Chris. Yeah, I've heard that for some people it does give them a bit of a ropey feeling. Anything as little as half an hour to a day. Because in the US, some of my colleagues in the US, here is where the rollout has not gone well. They've been delivering the Pfizer vaccine to some of the hospitals, and they haven't got the people to use them, and the vaccine expires, notwithstanding the fact that it's kept in a cold. So they've been inviting people, just say, if you can make it here in 10 minutes, come and take the vaccine. So a few of my colleagues, who are obviously in their sort of 40s, have had it, and they've reported similar. I guess that's how the antivirus works. Ben, so you did the movie star ride with the equivalent of the handicap in horse racing. But that's kind of nice, you know, when you suddenly realise, actually, I'm lighter. I myself have lost about half a kilogram to a kilogram, kind of around 63. Unfortunately, I know exactly what that is. It's muscle. Use it or lose it. There'll be some of the upper body muscle and lower body. Zahir, how are you? Good to have you on board, sir. Are you still enjoying Zwift? Zahir was a late convert to Zwift. He's unfortunately had a couple of accidents outdoors. None of them being his fault. He was hit by a motorcyclist most recently. And so he's in amongst the Zwift crowd for the safety. You want to give him a chance? Genius. What's your name? Dirian Ryder. Oops. So that's how it works. The body creates the antibodies by being kind of slightly infected. Gotcha. You're gonna hit the bicep curls. Well, I can't. I'm not allowed to do strength for 6 weeks from the operation because they put the stitches in to the muscles of the abdominal. And I miss the strength. I mean, I know not everybody in the cycling world loves the strength, but I do. So Ian, so you've gained 3 kilograms since October. Would you normally gain more over the winter period, sir? Or was that lost? Yes, 100% harmless, say the conspiracy theorists. Yeah. Sorry, just making out what you're saying there, Ian. You lost it, yeah. You lost 3 kgs, I think, no. My returning to training, I'm looking to get back to structured training towards the middle to end of next week with Ed. Whenever in the past I've had any kind of illness or injury, I've had a little protocol to come back, which I'm going to show in a vlog, that works for me personally. It may not work for many of you, but it's kind of, it sits with my mentality and physiology. And so I kind of gauge through this little protocol exactly how I'm feeling and where it starts to become uncomfortable, and then start back nicely within that for a few days to try and get the legs, heart and lungs going again. And it's the same with strength or running in the past when I've done that. You're loving the Zwifting, Zahir. It is addictive, there is no doubt. And you'll be very strong for when it's time and you feel ready to get back out again. Yeah, it'll make a big difference, Jason. Slow and steady though, as you know from my vlogs, slow and steady. Just tidy up the diet. Just reduce some of the things that you know kind of high in calories. Gradually build the volume of training and or the intensity, and it will gradually start to plateau the weight and then come down. That's exactly what I did after Christmas. Not counting calories, but being aware of what I was consuming. I didn't need to lose a lot. Didn't need to lose any, in all honesty, but I was doing it because it's a time of year that everybody thinks about it. So I thought it'd be helpful for the content, but also I kind of enjoy the subject. You've gone back to keto, Douglas. How do you find keto? Definitely, I like fasted training because obviously I've eaten a lot of carbs the night before. There's loads of glycogen in the muscle. But like a ride like this, it's really good to ultimately get through some of that glycogen and whatever's in the blood. And then you're starting to hit the body fat. Now, cardiovascular exercise, quite carbohydrate dependent. So, be interested to see how you get on with the keto. That's interesting. Yeah, so Douglas, you're saying you used to run, but the cycling, you've put on weight. Do you know what I think that might be? I think hour for hour of running is a bigger stress on the body. I mean, if I ran the kind of time that I ride, I'd be in all kinds of like muscle spasms and bad posture. I'd have the knee problems, my hamstrings would seize up. It creates quite a lot of inflammation in the body. So maybe it's a question of you're just not actually burning as many calories, notwithstanding whatever the data says. I often think there's a huge, between the Wattbike Hub, Zwift, and the Wahoo Kicker, not the Wahoo Kicker, the Wahoo Bolt Outdoors, for the same amount of effort, the Wahoo Bolt could be like 500 calories lower than the Wattbike Atom calorie counter. And it's not about distance, because the Wattbike, for every watt you go slower on the Wattbike than Zwift, for instance. And it kind of translates to outdoors. So there's not a lot of, I think it's just a guide. I always think the intensity is the important thing also for fat loss. Because as I say, on my experience over the Festive 500, where I did 10 consecutive days, and I burnt about 30 to 40% more calories than usual, but most of that was steady state. My weight didn't shift at all, and I didn't eat a lot more either, even though it was over Christmas. Whereas the moment I reduced the distance, when I was back to the structured training with Ed, and the intensity came back, obviously the diet also tied it up, the weight loss resumed. Thank you, Michael. That's very nice of you to say so. Sorry, it's just you're 87, Ollie. Yeah, well, cutting back the beer, that is actually another part of the fat loss vlog that I will do. But to cut a long story short, beer has a lot of estrogen in it. And when estrogen is high, it suppresses testosterone, which is not good for lean mass. And you get a higher propensity to create body fat. Beer has quite a lot of calories in it, but alcohol has 7 calories per gram. And the thing is, when you have alcohol, the body will burn whatever calories are consumed from alcohol in preference to the glycogen or the body fat. And so you basically switch off your fat burning hormones and machinery by drinking. So that would be a big impact on that. I would, that's kind of what I learned in my bodybuilding. I am not a nutritionist or a hormonal expert. but I do enjoy. Oh, thank you. My glasses. Yeah, I'm struggling.
There've been a couple of things where you've read stuff and it's not what it says.
Oh yeah.
There's a gentleman who's doing an Everest.
Oh right, who's doing the Everest?
Said, please give out a shout to James Foster.
James Foster. You're doing an Everest today.
He's not on here. It was Craig W. that said, could you call out James Foster?
James Foster,
Second
sir.
descent.
You're on your second ascent of what? Is it 8?
I don't know.
Yeah, 8 ascents. Maybe it's more. 1 second. James Foster, respect to you. Right now, I guess all is good in the world. You're right beautifully into your kind of your stride, feeling good, the tempo's nice, but dig in when it gets difficult. Just try and find that spot where the pedals are floating and you'll get through whatever difficulty you got, sir. Very best of luck. Huge respect to anybody that can even contemplate that. I don't think I could. Mark Evans is looking for advice on saddle. I'm not the expert there. All mine are carbon and the Wattbike one isn't, but it's not very comfortable. You're a negative 4.5 Celsius. Of course you're metric, Niels. Of course. Yeah. I mean, obviously that's very tall, Jason, and you've got a lot of lean mass. Which does mean also that as you tidy the diet up and the weight drifts back down 4 or 5 kilograms, you should retain most of your power. And the power to weight is going to come up nicely. 8.5 ascents, 6.5 to go. Or maybe 7.5 if you're only just partly into the second. Godspeed. And all who sail with you. Dear me. The thing that would, fitness aside, the thing that would stop me doing the Alp is the sheer discomfort. I mean, talking of the saddle, I find, obviously, as Pritchard would say, my gooch starts to hurt a little bit. There's a monster in turn 9. All right, nice. Wow, time is literally flying on this ascent. The gooch will start to hurt, but it's also one of my feet will also hurt typically. I'm no Phil Rich. Let's put it that way. So did we get to a place where Phil Rich and Paul Hamblet are going to go head to head for us? Either a race or a ramp. You have a carbon unpadded saddle. Yeah, I've got a Sella Italia on my Villia, unpadded. You got that in a trainer as well. Yeah, it's not much different in feel. Whatever I've got the standard Wattbike one. A lot of people don't like that. Better inner soles. Yeah, I need to sort that out. I'm going to get a proper cycling shoe fitting. What's that, Paul? ISM PL 1.0 for the win. Is that a seat? You fit your ass to the saddle. Yes, but how do you do that? If you get off on every descent, I'm not going to get into the controversy. And Paul, cheers for joining. I'm not going to get into the controversy of is it cheating? I would have said outdoors you wouldn't be able to get off the saddle. Therefore, I guess you could have to stop at the top, have a little comfort break, and then continue. Well, march, that was it. My apologies. Sorry, Phil. Remiss of me. Thank you, Craig. Your gooch isn't very picky. Reuben's gooch is not discerning, everybody. I think that's an overshare. It's beautiful, Reuben. Yeah, I've heard in the Netherlands you've had like epic bad weather. Is that right, Agnes and Niels? Like, it's like no one would even want to go out even if they could. Yeah, a long backpedal race in March. That's a really nice idea. Yeah, a long one. Maybe we can find an Uber Pretzel or something like that. Like a proper grand tour event. And we'll stream it on Backpedal. And everyone goes at their own pace. Yeah, I think also the bib shorts make a difference. And I'm trying the Velo skin stuff as well. Yeah. The Uber Pretzel is seriously emotional, isn't it? Fun is not the word that I would use. It's nice for kids. So is it actually alright for the kids to get out though in the snow? I'd heard that it was just like blizzard. Inside it's beautiful. Check out Marco's picture. That's the view outdoors on Discord. Yeah, I think it's the PRL London, isn't it? And Uber Pretzel. The thing about the PRL London, it's just like 11 times up Box Hill. Wow, Paul, that is very, very impressive. To be within 20 watts of your FTP up the final Alp, that means you paced it nice. For example, when I did the Uber Pretzel, which is about a little bit longer, but not much longer, and I was aiming for sub 4 hours in a race, when I hit Alpe du Zwift, I was in a pretty bad way. I averaged 242 watts there against an FTP at the time, about 290. So I was 50 watts short. So to be within 20 is very impressive indeed. Oh, we're losing a few. Let me just slow the pace a tiny bit. Let people come back. My apologies. Sorry, people are putting down some big old watts. Come, Mike. Oh, come on, Tim. I can see you there. You'll soon reel me back. I'm down at sub 2. Beautiful. The time's coming in. So I had my remiss of me. I don't think we've got many off the back. But come on, Tim. You got this. I like your jersey, Marco. We're actually caning through the distance here. That's beautiful, Mike. And Tim, yeah, you're really making nice arrears now. Come on, sirs. 4 hours, is that long enough? Oh, look at these are not. That's so good. Is 4 hours enough? Yeah, I'd be crying after 4. If everybody else carries on at the pace, we'll join you at the top. Some people are doing very nice in the up at the front there. So it's a nice little group. We stayed well. We're all within 2 bends of each other. Didn't think we'd manage that. There you go, Mike. 8 seconds. Tim, you got 48, but that will soon close. Come on, sir. Up and out the saddle, Marco. Liking it. Your body's feeling good today, is it, Tommy? There's Mike, beautiful. Crack on up there, sir. Come on, Dave, I see you now. Reel it in, 2.7, you're going to make it. For some reason, I don't see many on the right-hand side. Oh, my view on the GameStop debacle. Yeah, it's I'll give you my technical view on it. So, the fundamentals of GameStop as a company were obviously that it was in decline. It was exposed to the high street and hadn't done enough to transfer to provide a digital offering to its customers. So if you're a professional investor, notwithstanding whatever management are telling you, you're saying, you haven't done enough, I don't like the stock, I'm going to short sell you. Which means you're betting that the stock will fall, and ultimately you sell the stock at, say, $20 a share and you buy it back at 10. And so you make a profit of $10 a share. Now, short selling is controversial because everybody can kind of make the same decision, look at the fundamentals and say, don't like the look of this, and they all start short selling, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because they take these positions out and everybody can see that GameStop, you know, it's got a $20 share price, but all of a sudden you can see that there's like 30 different hedge funds out there, all with these really big short positions. So everybody else takes out short positions, and then it becomes almost inevitable that the price will fall because everybody loses confidence in it. And so morally, there is a kind of debate about short selling is good up to a point because it creates a liquid market and efficiency, but beyond that it becomes actually wolves or hyenas preying over the carcass. And the small investors are the ones that get caned because they don't sell short. Small investors can't afford to do that. They don't have the ability to take these really big positions. You can, but it's super risky. You know, you can lose a huge amount of money by taking a short position if you get it wrong. And so all the value of GameStop, if it's in their kind of, in America, their 401k, which is where they save for their pension, gets eradicated. And so these small investors have all banded together and said, this has to stop. And they colluded to say, we're going to buy loads of shares, and what's more, we're going to do it through what's called call options, which means that basically, say they had $1,000 to invest, they can take a position that's worth $10,000 or $8,000, because in effect they're all confident that if they all act together they can take a risk and bet more money than they've got. And so enough of them did it that it started to force the share price upwards. And as the share price is going upwards, all the hedge funds that were losing money, they're like, OMG, I've got to close out my position. And the only way they can close out their position is through buying the shares, which of course the retail investors, the small guys, know. And so they buy more shares to close out their position, and the share price goes even further. And those that are holding on to their short position are losing ever more money because they needed the share price to go from 20 to 10, but all of a sudden it's now at 30, at 40, at 50. And they've got to close out that position because they're racking up massive losses on paper, like huge losses. So they buy more shares and more shares, and then all the retail investors sent blood, and they buy more shares and more shares, and they take more call options, and they really double down, and they apply the pressure on the hedge funds, and they wipe them out. They're making like hundreds of millions of losses. And so there's this big debate that all these retail investors got together and effectively manipulated the market, and the retail investors say, All these hedge funds are doing in effect that for years, and we've been on the thick end of it. So I guess I think it's good every so often that the man on the street sticks it to the professional investor. But I think generally the excesses of short and long positions through options, call options, put options and call options, promising to buy what you don't have or promising to sell what you don't have, taking a long or a short position, you know, clearly it can go too far. Definitely the hedge funds are also doing that. The hedge funds are always looking at the fundamentals, at the market prospects, and they will also take very big buy positions by acquiring the actual stock and taking call options in the hope that the stock will rise. So a call option means, say at GameStop, if you like the stock, you bought it at 20, you can either buy the shares or take out a call option to say, I'll buy 100,000's worth of shares in a month's time. So they do that as well. But the thing about a hedge fund, they bet on volatility. They don't care whether the market goes up or down. They just need volatility. And the trouble is that they can create that volatility through basically the call option to buy stuff that they don't own and the put option to sell stuff that they don't own. And if enough of them do it, it makes the volatility even greater, and it makes the share price increase or decrease depending on what their strategy is, a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that ain't right. Sorry. My apologies. I probably went I have found that very interesting though. Yeah, the VIX. That's right. The VIX. The VIX is a measure of volatility of a stock market. I think it's one of the US ones. Yes, that is correct, Lord DeLego. And the thing is, this is the point. Lord DeLego is making a great point. A lot of the people who become successful traders, they're engineers, they're mathematicians. They're not necessarily just analysts of companies. They're looking at behavior, they're looking at probability, they're looking at weight of money, statistics, track record, and they also have huge money at their disposal. So they can exploit weakness. I agree. If you don't know what you don't know, Keith, the market will cane you. I remember being at the Royal Bank of Scotland on our debt trading floor when I was working in the syndications department, and our traders who buy and sell debt to try and make money were taking a pasting because the market went against them. We had too many long positions, i.e. we owned too much debt, and the value of that debt was going down because everybody was selling, and we didn't have the balls to sell early enough. We waited until you were getting like 90p in the pound or less, and these traders were screaming at the market. They were like effing and blinding and like just going mental, like for about, not the whole day, but at different points when the market moved badly against them. The stress was huge. And I remember the head of my department, who I was sat opposite, he said, no matter how much you shout at the market, it's not going to listen to you. Cheers, Ollie, enjoy your ride. Sorry, I've missed out on all of the chat there. My apologies. I was kind of, believe it or not, I am fed up of finance. Not in a bad way, but in terms of stocks and shares, that kind of thing. I love lending to companies, and that's because what I do is nothing to do with stocks and shares. What I do is lend money to companies to help them grow, help them create jobs, and we're focused on the technology sector. I like that aspect of it because we are genuinely, as a lender, taking a bet a very informed bet, because you cannot afford, if I lose £10 million, I have to lend probably 200 million to make back the loss and not lose anything there. So we're making a very big bet that the company will do well. And so that's why I like the aspect of my job, in that you work very closely with the management team to understand the track record of the business, the market that they're in and their strategy, and then you make a decision about how much to lend, because you need that money back. And so the business has to do well. Yeah, the short selling is absolutely key. It's unlimited losses. That's the problem with it. So definitely, whenever I've tried to buy and sell shares myself, never trust a banker to make a decision on buying or selling shares, ever, under any circumstances. So if ever I was to say in a live chat, go and buy XYZ, don't. So I don't do that anymore. Whenever I've sold, the share will go up faster. Whenever I've bought at the top of the market. So I just put my money into like savings accounts and like index trackers, which is like dumb money, they say, but I'm not sophisticated enough to make good decisions. Bitcoin, that is really interesting. The thing about Bitcoin, it's volatility again. 1 minute it's worth $2,000 a Bitcoin and the next minute it's 20,000. Now it's on a big resurgence at the moment. But I always say, who sits behind the value that is being created? And the Bitcoin has got a bad reputation for, like, are there money launderers and criminals that create transactions that they turn into Bitcoin, and in effect, when you buy a Bitcoin, you're enabling the process of financial crime and terrorism. Obviously, the majority of Bitcoin transactions, I'm sure, are legitimate, but there is an argument that it is a strong argument, because every Bitcoin unit is underpinned by a transaction or a piece of value that has happened, and you cannot dig into it to find out what those transactions were, is my understanding. You know, the source of the money, i.e. that it's not from financial crime or supporting terrorism. And so a lot of the banks don't like Bitcoin or any of the kind of cryptocurrencies, because as a bank you play a key role in the financial system to report any suspicion of financial crime, breach of sanctions or money laundering. So Marky MTB is walking up turn 4. Are you alright, Marky? My apologies. We'll see though. I mean, the trouble with Bitcoin is, as well, there's a lot of people that love it. There's a lot of people that want to transact in it. And so you cannot rule out Bitcoin, especially because paper money has now been fully people don't want paper money for the pandemic. Oh, the Yeti is walking up the hill. Nice one, Marky. I'm going to look for that. Turn 4. Turn 4. Check out the Yeti. So it could be that one day we're all having to buy Bitcoin. But mark my words, if ever it's the kind of the domain of the average person like you or I, there'll be a lot of regulation around the provenance of its value and the anti-money laundering. Far East dominating technology sectors. Yeah, definitely. I mean, so here, the Far East is a big powerhouse, no question. But look at the innovation that is going on in Silicon Valley, in Europe, in Boston, whether it's life sciences, whether it's technology. The sheer... People are building the previously unimaginable at their best. At their worst, you know, some of the company business models are a bit questionable in my view. But at the best, look at what we've seen regarding the technology around life sciences to accelerate the pandemic. Here in the UK, we're a powerhouse for life sciences here in the UK. We're amazing in the UK in the fintech arena, as is the case in Europe, because we've got a deregulated banking system, open banking, and that gives alternative money providers, transaction providers and lenders the ability to make smart decisions about who to lend to, who to enable to make life easier with your payments. Software is a massive area of expertise. Robotic engineering in Germany. Automotive engineering in Germany. But Silicon Valley is having an absolute golden period of time in terms of capital that is going into Silicon Valley. Well, not just Silicon Valley, but Boston and all across America. And the same is happening in Europe, all across Europe. And it's driven by talent. People that come out of university with mechanical engineering, mathematics, science degrees. Or in Israel, people that come out of the army having been exposed to telecommunications and research and development for weapons. And then they go to university and then they come out and innovate and they set up companies. All across the world, there is huge innovation going on. And that's why I don't have any concerns on that front. My biggest concern for Europe and the Western economies is obviously our service sector, our entertainment sector, our dining has undertaken such huge negative hits over the course of this pandemic and recession. You know, I used to love lending to theatres, restaurant groups, entertainment businesses, live entertainment businesses, certain aspects of manufacturing where demand has literally fallen off. Travel demand has fallen off a cliff overnight, and that's the bit that I worry about, is when does it come back? All these livelihoods that depend on this, all the blood, sweat and tears from small business owners through mid-sized business owners through large corporates that have these amazingly successful businesses up until February 2020 and then nothing. And the technology sector is intermediating on all of that. Where we would have gone to the shops, we're now having delivery to home, whether it's supermarkets, whether it's consumer goods or whatever. Will we go back to the cinema? You know, the cinema relies on films being provided early, and you can only see them at the cinema for the first 2 months, and then they're released to Netflix and others. But now they're being disintermediated. You can't turn around on the descent. Surely we just go around the little loop at the top, Chris. Sorry. Anyway, so that's my main concern. It's not Southeast Asia and what they will do to take our technology away, because I think we are leading across Europe, Israel, India. I mean, just look at the growth in technical capabilities and the service industries in India, where many companies now are able to employ staff and offshore stuff too. These are the things that will ultimately reduce jobs here in the UK. Anyway, my apologies, sorry. Yeah, that's right, it's more pandemic. Hi Theo, thanks for joining. Sorry, I've ended up away with the fairies there, just talking about economics and stuff. Anyway, my apologies, sorry. If people have found that super boring. I know some of you found it interesting, but probably some of you are thinking, my God, he can drone on. I can, unfortunately. Right, so where are we on the... here we are. So, coming up to hairpin 3, the time has literally flown by. Green technology. Do you know what? I went to Germany before the lockdown, and I saw a company that just blew me away. Literally blew me away in terms of green technology. So, in India, for instance, one of the big issues is pollution in the rivers. But right across all economies, waste products are produced from manufacturing, from farming, agriculture, forestry, the wood industry, you name it. There's a lot of waste produced. And it's difficult to deal with that waste or remove pollution from rivers. And in Germany, I encountered a company that's got a very proven technology. It's selling lots of these units. Sorry, 1 second. Where you take your wood chippings or your agricultural waste or the sludge and rubbish in the river, and you dump it into this massive machine. It's kind of the size of a small house. And it goes into a refractor where a huge amount of energy is applied and it burns it all off. Now normally when you're burning off waste, it creates carbon dioxide, which in turn is obviously dreadful for the ozone layer and global warming. But it takes all of that waste and all of the energy and gas that is burnt off and then channels it through a process to create electricity. So from rubbish and sludge and crap in the river, it can create charcoal, or I've forgotten the name of it, but basically it's charcoal. Normally you'd have to burn wood to get it, and you're not allowed to do that in Europe. But you create charcoal, and that's used in fertilizers. It's used in animal feed. It's used in all of our filters, our water filters. So you get a useful byproduct, and all of the energy, the CO2 and everything, is channeled through a process to create electricity. And so it's carbon negative, and it's relying on waste. It even powers its own machinery. Activated carbon. Niels, that is the one. Nice one, sir. And it was just like jaw-dropping. And we went, it was just outside of Frankfurt, about an hour and a half outside of Frankfurt. Incredible business. But whether it's, solar, wind, all these plants that turn waste into energy, that's only going to get bigger. A lot more investment going in with the governments across Europe and the USA. Oh, definitely, Zahir. If you're a company and your sales are falling and your profits and cash flows are falling and you've got too much debt and not enough cash, you've had to take out emergency loans and put people onto furlough. Any recession always exposes companies that have a poor balance sheet. I won't get into the nuances of balance sheets and financial accounting, but it is an area that I take a keen interest in. Pleasure, Lee. Pleasure. Thank you. My little legs are quite tired, but they feel good. So, we're number 2. And you can report back to Ed that I have been good. No, because industry, when it produces waste, in Europe certainly, they have to get a permit to produce the waste and find a way to dispose of it. And so industry is generally trying to find ways to minimise its carbon emissions in order to get carbon tax credits. If you pollute through oil spillage or petroleum spillage or anything like that, your world collapses. So I think governance in that respect is getting ever tighter. What it does mean is that they still pay. So this waste product, this company gets paid by industry to take it away. So it's still a cost to industry. It's just that this company in Germany turns it into activated carbon, which is used for the fertilizers, filters, animal feed, all this kind of stuff. Actually, sewage treatment is how you get a lot of the impurity out of sewage. And it creates energy. They get paid for taking the waste, they get paid for the activated carbon, and they get paid for the electricity. And so I don't think industry is encouraged to do more. And for example, I know in India they've been purchasing these machines to clean up some of the tributaries of some of the rivers. This chat when racing, I think that's going to be a little while for me. Hi Darren. That's very kind of you. It's like news night, I guess. But my carbon neutral for industry by 2050, yeah, definitely. And linked to that, you're not going to be able to buy a petrol or diesel car, I think, by about 2030, if not before. And the issue has been, that's why it was such a disappointment when the US pulled out of the Paris Accord, because you need leadership on this issue. But carbon neutral by 2050 may not be enough. That's the worrying thing when you've got kids and all this kind of thing. I mean, I'm as guilty as anybody. I used to fly regularly to California, and obviously the US on holiday, this kind of thing with the kids. And I don't think flying is going to be quite such a big thing anymore. Unless they will, obviously technology will help them reduce the carbon footprint. But people are looking at their lifestyles quite carefully, I guess. Yeah, BRFWM for PM. Thank you, Damon. I think we've got the man with the blonde hair. He's done a good job on the vaccines, I guess. Yeah, we're descending together. Definitely, Matthew. Race back down the Alp. Thomas, thank you ever so much. I appreciate that. Sorry I haven't been very active in the comments on the screen. I am only capable of doing one thing at once, but I really appreciate you saying that, Thomas. Thank you. Yes, Keith, that's a very good point. I think a big area of technology is obviously 4D printing, where you can print human hearts, all that kind of stuff, but you can print edible food, but also from insects and from other plant sources. And one of the big buyouts we did was for corn. And one of the big-ish things about corn, positives, this is like 2008 or 7, was obviously you don't produce all that carbon dioxide from the animals, which is the biggest contributor, I understand. Is that right, Keith? Yeah, I mean, this is a big trend, obviously, plant-based. And whether you're fully vegan, Darren, or whether you're, like Jane and I, we're very heavily plant-orientated. But I still have the whey protein and a bit of fish, milk, chocolate, that kind of thing. But for sure, I think my kids, for instance, and so many people are ever more aware of the actions and the small steps that we can individually take to contribute to a better world. And Al Gore was very right in his inconvenient truth that all of these things matter. We can all make a small difference, because if we don't start making a difference, well, we haven't got much time now. And Al was definitely, I enjoyed that program that documentary he did, and I think plant-based is a big part of it. But the thing about going completely plant-based, and you have to find a way to help all the farmers gradually transition from meat, because there's a lot of livelihoods. And it's not, it's the deforestation in the rainforest, all that kind of stuff that has been also caused by meat. And the trouble is, these are never simple problems to solve, because obviously we are privileged in that, we have jobs, most of us do, And I hope yours goes well, Grim. But we have good choices, whereas in many parts of the world people aren't able to make those choices, and so, you know, and you see it played out at its worst, still with the hunting of animals, like rare animals. You know, to a Westerner, how is it that anybody can want to hunt like a giraffe or a lion, a tiger? You know, I mean, I don't personally want to hunt full stop, obviously. But people are hunting, you know, rare animals still for money, because that's the only way they can earn money. And I think this is where it's worrying regarding the virus, the antivirus stuff. You see nationalism playing out. All the West say, yes, the vaccine must be for everybody. It's a global thing. Our Prime Minister said it. But look at us. We've got more vaccine than we need. Europeans are saying, you've got more than you need, we want some of it. And politically, it's very difficult for our government to say, well, actually, we'll give some of our allocation, for instance, to, you know, Africa, some of it to other countries that are not as advanced, because they would get voted out. And so it's not just politicians making decisions, it's like the public, because that's what gets them elected. And it's like, we have to give more to international aid. That means taxes have to rise. We have to accept a slower pace of the vaccine rollout if everybody in the world is to get it. And it's an unsolvable problem, because if you make bad decisions as a politician, you get unelected. And they're not prepared to do that, even though they do make bad decisions. That's very interesting, Darren, because that's one of the issues about batteries, isn't it? That they're expensive to mine all the elements and minerals that go into them, and they might not necessarily last very long. But if they're lasting longer and they can be recycled, do they have good lives, Ben? Yeah, but they still produce a lot of carbon dioxide, I think was the point Darren was making. Anyway, coming to the top, I think we've got a little race. There's a few people still behind. Dougie, are you wanting to do the race down, sir? Because we'll wait 7 minutes if you want. I think that might be the last. Oh no, I think Dougie stopped. Yeah, not watts a kilogram. Now this is the first and last time I'll go past Ruben de Klerk. I got 4 meters on him in the final run in to the crest. You're waiting at the top. Beautiful. Primed and ready to race. Oh, Ruben's coming back at me now. Should we have the slow motion summit finish? Ruben's passed me. I'm going to put in a big dig in our slow motion. He's rocking in the chair. The commentators are screaming, come on. Next person since Geraint Thomas to prevail on the Alp. He's writhing in his seat. Has he got one last dig? Oh. No. It's slipping away from Britain one last time. Destined always. No, he's doing it. Yes. Zip up the jersey. A winner. Victorious on the Alp. Cheers, Adam. Yeah, no, watching the stitches. I wasn't putting any pressure down. Right. Goody good. Right, here we all are. Now, I'm not going to be sprinting myself down, but because I'll keep it. I'm going to keep it lightweight today to But right. So I'm going to start rolling. When we start rolling, everybody's on the same bike. I can tell nobody's cheating. Right, I'm rolling now. I'm rolling slow. Try and form up on me as I either come past or get onto me. Right, this is a race for honour. Yeah, the front group are waiting. Look at this. Look at the honour here. I love this. Everybody's playing ball. Coming through. There we go. I'm going to go real slow. Let everybody just form up. I got a couple more up front there. I think we're going to haul back in. Got a nice little gaggle of green here. This is good. Yeah, hit the like, please. Yeah, at Backpedal, we'd be super grateful if you'd like this and subscribe. Remiss of me. Plenty more coming here on Backpedal. Right. Now for the race. Now I wish I had the ability to lock in on some of the others, but I shall I'm going to get spun up and into the aero tuck. That's my motor. Right, we're coming through now. Let's build up speed. Ramming speed. Doom, 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 doom. Let's get going. What's going on here? Oh yeah. Normally I don't go around this little bit. I'm normally just like literally crying, breathing in leaves from all around. Look at this. Little gaggle of us. Isn't that beautiful? One at the back. Come on. Here we go. Here we go. Right. Get your ramming speed up now. I'm going to pull my watts up. Not talking anymore, am I? Dear me. Right, into the aero tuck I go. 72? I'm being destroyed. Come on, Philip. I'm just gonna... Look at this. This is a nice gaggle. I'll try and catch up. Dear me. I was trying not to do. And in a little sea of red, I ruined my beautiful spin out of the legs. In the name of entertainment. Descending, as you know, is not my strong suit in real life or in virtual. Why is he not going any faster? Come on. What is he not doing? Yeah, lots of the illegal super tuck. Yeah, I forgot that it was illegal, Keith. Yeah, I mean I'm fully deployed. I'm at the back, Marky. I'm when it's really dropped. Oh no, it's 3 behind me. Look at that. Look at the beautiful pink, magenta. You're loving your 90 kilogram now. Yeah, I bet you are, Ruben. Yeah. Yeah, I was 64 in the scale here. I'm 63 at the moment, actually. I forgot to change it. I lost a little bit. I'm hoping to put that back, actually. I don't want to... Well, maybe I'm not hoping to put it back. I'm not going to do anything to keep it off. Let's put it that way. 73.5. Nice. So that makes a difference, doesn't it? Look at the sprint there. John. Very nice. You're going around there with some aplomb. I like that. I like your style. Looks good. Oh, what company is that? Sorry. What's the company called? Oh, the one in Germany. Oh, crikey. I can't remember the name of the company. Oh dear. Is that the one you mean? The one in Germany? I need to go and consult my notes. I see so many companies that I lose track of the names of them, but I remember exactly what they do, what their profits are, what their growth. I've got like a mental memory for mental memory. Is that a thing? For data and that kind of stuff. I can't remember. It's something like Envirotech or something like that. I can't remember. It's not the most imaginative name, or maybe it is. I don't know. Sorry, bad answer. You've thrown your chain. Oh dear. Matthew. Sort it out. What is this throwing the chain thing? It never happens on the watt bike. That's another recommendation I have for the watt bike, or I guess many of the smart bikes. You don't have to do much. 63. I mean, I'm doing nothing here. Tim is coming in on me now. Paul Borum, yeah, he's got his sights on me. He sensed blood. And definitely you're right to scent blood on a descent when I'm around, Paul. Definitely. Take me down. It would have been remiss not to. There we go. Tim's now ahead. Mike Pickering. He sense weakness and he's closing fast. 24, 23, 20. We're into the teens. But look, I'm closing now. There we go. Look at that. Like I'm going backwards. I mean, listen, this is my super tuck. Hi, there's a Garda bike. So nice one, Saracen. Yeah, call out Garda Bike Hotel. I'm going to get back out there if I'm allowed to travel. Definitely. Actually, that is one of the things I was wanting. I might actually look at joining at some point a Garda Bike social ride. They're lovely people, really lovely people. Family-owned business. Going for a difficult time. They had the Borough Hansgrohe team out, sort of in middle of January. You're back on. Did on order too much power for... You're back on. What bike did on order too much power for me? Chaining me. So, you've got a watt bike, but your chain has slipped. Is that right, Matthew? Sorry. 4 p.m. Beautiful. 4 p.m. if you want to ride with Garda Bike Hotel. I have to ride a bit earlier in the day myself. They do one on a Saturday, I think, around about 7. But Min, Unwell, and Energy Technique. No, that isn't it. No. All right. If you bear me a second, I'll. Oh dear. It's going to be too difficult to find because my searches are all focused on UK, US sites, and it's going to take me an age to find it. I will find the name of it, and I will report back. You have my word on that. We're not even at the God. This is like a driving Miss Daisy ascent. There's Marco in his beautiful jersey. Again, look how we corner. If I was to try that in real life, it would end very badly. I mean, when I get out, if fingers crossed I get out to the Alp for real for the Marmot, I will be taking the descents quite easily. Paul Hamblett, he did a lot of the Hort routes, and some of the good Italian riders said to him, "You can't descend for toffee," so they took him on a descending camp for about a week, and he is now. I don't know if he'd be classed by a European as a good descender, but to my mind, he's a very good descender. He's right up there with like Scott and Ed. So Ed's got his new training program launching. He's put a lot of work and effort into that. There's 3 different programs, I think, all about building the base dependent on where you're starting from. Big announcement, I think, coming on that, hopefully in the course of this week. But keep your eyes peeled for that. He's racing on Tuesday, the WTRL. So do check that out. And obviously sign up for the race training on Saturday if you're able to race at 4 p.m. or whatever. 12 weeks wait for the watt bike. Yeah, it is a long one. That's why I'm thinking about putting in an order soon. Scott tonight, Com Hunt TV. Really nice video. He's told me all about it. I'm not going to spoil any of the thunder, but let's put it this way: it's pertinent, very pertinent, and you'll see what I mean. You know, this would be the point where Scott would be pleased for me to introducing his video. So tonight 8 p.m. live on ComHunt TV. I've got my video that I am now dropping on trainer difficulty. It's my definitive view on when trainer difficulty matters. Hopefully you'll enjoy that, and then the vlogs are going to start again from next week. I pre-recorded a load obviously before I went away. I shall be showing you my little protocol for how I've figured out how fit or not I am post the operation, a little bit of an explanation of the operation. I'll show you the scars, so do turn away if you don't like the scars. Jane puts a warning in the vlog for that. So plenty to come content wise, and I'm trying to think, Ed will probably do some kind of a live stream, I dare say, in a week, because the weather is looking dreadful, and he was saying that he was going to do one of the longer kind of endurance rides, so you can have a chat and chew the fat with Ed a little bit as well. And I'll definitely, if people are up for it, because this has been super good, I'm definitely really happy to do another group ride, either Saturday or Sunday. Sunday's good, I think. Sunday's good. So maybe we can do a group ride next week. Trainer difficulty tonight. Yeah, definitely tonight on that one. Thank you, Lee. But yeah, if people are up for it, we could do another one. Maybe, if people are up for it, and this is a difficult one, right? It won't always be popular. We could do a Von 2, a Ven Top, or we can do a flat one. What's the feeling there? You know, we could have another little chat lap. I like the vertical chat lap, but equally, it's not for everybody. So, pleasure, Saracen. Thank you very much. No, but thank you all for joining. It really means a lot. We are super excited about next year. Just hoping we can get out, meet people, ride a bit, that kind of thing, and you know, have some fun at last. Ven Top for the Bants, yeah. A little chat lap up Ven Top, a chat, and then you know the race down there is even longer. Am I only on Ben 21? This has been. I reckon I could have climbed it quicker than this. I'm joking. Of course I couldn't have climbed it quicker than this. I'm not that big-headed. Good, excellent. So we'll have a group ride, a group climbing thing, and it'll be a similar pace, so that hopefully that suits the majority of people. Ease out the legs a bit, ready for some hard training. It's all about the R&R. The more rested and recovered we are, the harder we can go when my stitches are okay on the hard efforts. So Mr. Pickering won. There we go. We have a victor. Mike, respect to you, sir. You have the downward KOM, and Scott from ComHunt TV would say the downward KOM, the negative incline, is the KOM that everybody wants. I mean, who wants to get the KOM going up Alpe du Zwift after all? But you, sir, have the KOM. Respect. Thank you very much for joining. And I guess, unless anyone's got any other questions, I'm going to kind of just gently spin out the legs a tiny little bit and wrap up the stream. But, yeah, we'll make it a date. Sunday, 9 a.m. next week. Nice little build the base recovery. Come and join. You know, it's better to do it this way to get that zone 1, zone 2 in than it is riding on your own. And did you go right? I can't turn around. Yeah, we're not turning around now. I'm just going to shut down the stream. But look, in the meantime, whoever you are and whatever you do, please remember to live, thrive, like and subscribe to Backpedal. We'd super appreciate it. All take care. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.